and this month we're talking about self-care. Can you tell what one of my favorite things to do for self-care is? Whenever I have a stressful day or a busy weekend, or even just have 10-15 minutes to relax by myself, one of the things I thoroughly enjoy doing is having a nice bubble bath, because today we're going to talk about why self-care is so important and some of the things that you can do to prevent meltdowns so that you can take care of yourself and then take care of the people around you that you love. So what I like to do when I have just a few minutes is do some journaling. Now every night I write down something that I'm grateful for. I write down just a little bit of like the highlights of what happened today and what I'm looking forward to doing tomorrow. I also try to read a little bit every night, so I grab one of my favorite books and it helps put me to sleep. Some of the things that I will do when I have a little bit more time is I really like making vision boards or dream boards. And so I'll get some of my favorite magazines and I'll cut them all up and I'll get some stickers and some markers and I'll get a poster board and I'll make a vision board for what I want to achieve in the future so I can put that up in front of me and constantly have a game plan with some action steps towards my end goal. And then of course, I love coloring. So there's a bunch of different coloring book styles that you can get out there. Sometimes you can use markers, sometimes you can use pencil crayons, sometimes you let your kids use your coloring books. I do not, they're mine. I'm not allowed to touch them. Some of the things I do that are a little less pricey or involve other items are meditate or try to get a nap. I have a bubble bath, have a nice conversation with a friend on the phone. I'll use some essential oils or paint my nails, do a mud mask. Some of the things I'd like to do by myself and some of the things I'd like to do with my friends or my family. When I really have time to go out and take an evening or a day and hit the town, I love going to community events. I volunteer doing seroptimist activities with some of my girlfriends. My husband and I try to go for at least one date night a month. And these are the things that help keep me sane. These are the things that help me going so that I can do those trade show weekends, so that I can work those 12-hour days, so that I can do that 13-day stretch without a break when necessary. And so sometimes it's just 5-10 minutes at the end of the night to kind of regroup and relax and be able to tackle the next morning. And sometimes it's I take a whole day off and I don't do much. I'll watch Netflix or I'll fart around the house and I just take that time to regroup and rebuild so I don't have that breakdown. It's like when you're on an airplane and those oxygen masks fall down and they tell you to put them on yourself before you put them on somebody around you. Because if you burn out and you're out of the picture, you can't help those around you. So your friends and your family, your employees, your coworkers, they all need you. So you have to make sure that you take time for you before you can help them.
Hey everybody, it's Erin Savard and we are talking about self-care. So I'm just going to take a little one of these and so I did that because this little view that you guys have with me right now is part of my self-care routine. I take my dogs out for a walk. And I do it in a place that fills me up, not just them. But part of making sure that they're feeling stimulated and amazing and all of that also fills me up too. So nature is a huge part of my self-care, and I find that when I'm not outside doing these things, I'm definitely feeling run down and tired and lacking inspiration. I also wanted to share just last week, actually the last couple of weeks, I've also been scuba diving. And that for me is like engaging in massive amounts of awe and God space. And that for me is a big self-care one, but it takes a lot of planning. So I kind of think about self-care in terms of levels. So I think of things that make me feel important and like a queen. And those usually are things that are fairly simple. Things like bubble baths, like taking time with my coffee to read my book, buying something really nice for myself just because it makes me feel good. That's kind of what I imagine those things to be. And then I have my next level, which is things like my dog, being out in nature, and that sort of stuff. And then scuba diving is like, it's a little bit more time consuming in terms of the actual activity as well as planning. So that's something that really feeds my soul. It takes a little bit more. I'm not doing it quite as often, but a year ago I went through a massive depression, and one of the things my mom mom asked me was, if you could be anywhere doing anything right now, what would it be? And I said I'd be at the bottom of the ocean. And what shocked me about that is it had been 20 years since I had been scuba diving. And I had done it pretty avidly before that. And it was really sobering to remember that there was something in my life that really, really filled me up that I wasn't making a priority. And scuba diving for me is something that I will never do as a business. I'm not going to teach about it. I might share my passion about it. But I think that's another thing to really consider as business owners. Oftentimes we get involved in things and we immediately think, how can I turn this into a business? How can I make this lucrative for myself? Because we're excited about it, we're passionate about it, and we want to share, and we turn it into work. And the last kind of category of self-care that I wanted to share with you guys are sometimes things that are a little bit more difficult. They're choices that we make or things that we engage with that involve introspection and awareness. And sometimes those are things like courses that we self-help kind of courses that we engage with because we want to improve our perspective, we want to improve our faith, we want to improve our ability to connect. And sometimes those things are a little bit more difficult because they are hard work. Anytime we involve in a conscious process, it's going to make us aware of things often that we weren't before. But to me, that is a huge part of my self-care because I have a mission to be as engaged and connected and conscious as I possibly can. Sometimes self-care isn't, all feel good, but in the end, it still produces the same result of feeling fulfilled and passionate and on track in life. So those are a few of my little things for self-care. I hope you guys have a wonderful week.
Good mornings. This is my morning face, and I decided that this was a perfect time to share with you one of my favorite things that I do to practice self-care. So, first of all, when I roll out of bed, I am not a morning person, and usually I actually look worse than this, and I have mascara dripping all down my face. Bad habit, I know. So what I like to do is sneak into my bathroom and shut the door. So now I'm in here and I get myself all prepared. Now I am a product whore. I love products. So I gather up all my crap that I have, my samples, my eye cream, whatever I happen to have laying around. Get that water nice and warm. Actually climb right onto my counter just like this, and this is when I de-hairify my face. As Amy knows, I absolutely hate hair, and in between visiting her at Sugared, I like to get in here and do all that plucking that we got to do that we quite often miss. And then you get this. So there you have it. That is my favorite way to practice self-care. There's lots of different things that I do or try to do or want to do. I think the point isn't so much what you do, it's how it makes you feel. So I love giving myself a little extra care and attention through washing my face and having good skin and doing my makeup. I love makeup. It makes me feel pretty. I grew up as a tomboy. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup when I was a kid. I had to have short hair, and so I love my long hair and all my makeup and all my products because it makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I feel more able to face the day. And fresh and ready to go. So that's what I like to do. And yeah, whatever your form of self-care is, it's just important that some way or another we find ways to work it into our lives. Sometimes we don't have the time to do the big self-care things like sitting down and going to yoga or practicing meditation or all the things that, you know, we see flying around on social media as important acts of self-care. Sometimes it's something as simple as locking the bathroom door.